Hi my loves, welcome to your cosmic weather report for the week ahead. Now we have a lot of Venus energy this week, along with waning moon energy. And so this is going to be a really beautiful week. The big theme of this week is really going to be around letting go of anything that isn't in alignment, integrity and congruence with who you want to be, how you want to show up in the world and what you really want in your life, which are all things that big Aquarius full moon showed us. So now as those lunar energies wane, we're really going to begin to do the work around that moon. So Monday we get the last quarter moon in Gemini. Now the last quarter moon is the part of the lunar cycle that we really begin to let go of what we don't want to take into the next cycle with us. Now with this last quarter moon being in Gemini, what I really want you to feel into is, especially with these big wild energies we've got going on at the moment. I know it feels wild out there at the moment. I know there is so much going on at the moment. But what we can't do is think our way through it or think our way out of it. So I want you to notice where you're really overthinking it all and trying to solve it all and fix it all and do it all. Because the only way that we're going to get through these energies is by feeling, by allowing, by receiving. And I understand that the less certainty we have in life, when things do feel like they're shifting and changing, we can have a very human tendency to want to grip and grab and control and try to get it figured out and try to get the answers, and when's it going to end and when's it going to finish and when's it going to be okay and when's it going to change and when's this going to happen. But we can't have those kind of certainties in life. And so when we're just constantly overthinking, trying to micromanage and grip and control it all, we miss a lot of the joy of the journey. So I want you to really, if you can, over this week now, surrender to what is, surrender to the flow, surrender to the tiredness if that's what's there, surrender to what's happening and stop trying to swim upstream and fight it all and overthink it all and figure it all out. I also want you to pay real attention to where you're overly worrying about things. And something I often use when I find myself worrying is there something you can do about it? If there is something you can do about it, do it. You've done something. If there's nothing you can do about it, there's nothing you can do about it. So worrying about it is actually going to make it worse and worse and worse and bigger. So again, can we surrender to what is? Can we surrender into trust? Can we just allow things to move in the way that they're moving and hold an inner sense of presence and stillness and peace and let the world do what the world needs to do around us without us trying to put everything in the place that we want it to be and fix it all somehow? And so I'd really love you to start off this week, and as the week continues, you're just really noticing where there is too much thought, too much whatever it is, too much worry, and try to really sink into that surrender and start to let it go. Now we're also going to look at, over the week, beginning with this last quarter moon, at what did the Aquarius full moon show you about where you're afraid to be yourself? So where do you worry too much about what they might say, or about what might happen, or about what that might mean? And I just love you to notice at the start of the week, where are those worries just on autopilot here in the back of our minds, and really try to catch them and sink into that deep, deep, deep trust and surrender. Now, Tuesday then, we get Venus trine Uranus. So as Venus trines Uranus, it brings this very big desire to begin to express yourself freely and authentically, to just really begin to show up as who you are, to say, I'm just sick of worrying about this, and I'm just sick of worrying about that, and I'm just going to start to be me, and I'm just going to start to show up, and I'm just going to start to live my life rather than always worrying about what might go wrong or what might not happen. I'm just going to start to show up and live and be. And this is a really beautiful time to try something new. If there's been something, or if something you've been doing hasn't been working, do it differently. Try something new, take on something new. Try being a little bit of a new version of you. This is a really beautiful time to begin to be who you want to be rather than who you're expected to be. So perhaps look at those places in your life where people expect a certain version of you or a certain behavior from you, or they expect something from you. They expect you to be a certain way. and have a real feel into, but is that who I actually want to be? Or is that who I'm just expected to be? And can I instead begin to show up as who I want to be? Can I begin to express freely and authentically and show up in a new way? Even if in the beginning people are going to be like, And just a little side point on that, whenever you make a change, whenever you begin to set boundaries, whenever you begin to do something new, there is always going to be a pushback from the people who've benefited from you doing things in a certain way, being a certain version of you, having no boundaries. But we can't let those pushbacks make us shrink back. So just be mindful, there might be a bit of a pushback, but where do you want to begin to be who you want to be rather than who they expect you to be? That's what I really want you to feel into around the beginning of the week, and start to show up as more of you, as more of who you want to be, and really express yourself fully. Now, this is going to continue then on Wednesday. We get a really sweet day on Wednesday. We get Venus opposite Neptune. So as Venus opposes Neptune, we have this ability to be able to connect more deeply to our souls and the divine. So it brings in a real love energy, a real heart opening energy, a real sense of wanting to open yourself up to something greater, and being able to find a relationship with the true you, with the real you, with the soul you, and a connection with the universe, God, Goddess, whatever name you give it, to this source of guidance and inspiration and wisdom that is always there. This is also the day to just sit and to dream. And you might create a vision board, or I like to sometimes write it as a story, so it's a little story of my life. But I want you to really feel into what your dream world would look like. If you were living in the dream world right now, and you were living by your values and your ideals, and everything was as you wanted it to be, what would that dream life look like? This is a day for dreamy visualizations that will turn into manifestations, about really tapping into what those dreams are beneath the surface that you've maybe put on hold because you've been showing up as who they expect you to be and living their life and their dreams rather than your own. So I want you to really feel into those dreams within you that you want to take forwards, because on this same day, Mercury stations direct. We made it. We did it. Mercury's going to station direct in Leo. Just a little kind of FYI, Mercury then goes into what's known as a shadow period. So Mercury's in shadow before and after. So we're going to be fully clear of Mercury by the 12th. So we're going to have just a little bit of shadowy period. But what this shadow period is for is to ensure that we don't just set straight back off out there at 100 miles an hour again. We don't just like run out of the gates and leap out of the gates again. We move out slowly. So it's almost like we put a toe out of the duvet first and have a little feel into what it feels like out there. And then we slowly start to like stretch our way out of it and come out slowly. We do often feel Mercury retrograde the most at the beginning and the end. So just to warn you, Mercury sometimes gives us like a last hurrah and leaves us with a little bit right at the end. So you might feel quite a bit, it might feel quite retrograde-y at the beginning of this week before Mercury stations direct. But what we want to do immediately after Mercury stationing direct is to spend some time in the shadow period, really feeling into what were the lessons that retrograde period showed me. Because sometimes we can't see it when we're in it. We're too in it. And I know this one's been wild, so we've been too in it. But can we now reflect on what we were shown, what we were taught, what the big lessons were, and how do we now take that information and go forwards in a different way? So really take some time around the first few days of Mercury going direct to notice, pay attention, do some journaling around what have the last few weeks brought me, what have they shown me, and how am I going to make little changes as I go forwards. Because then on Thursday, we get Venus again, Venus trines Pluto, and Venus is also going to move into Libra. So first of all, as Venus trines Pluto, we spoke about your desires starting to stir, your dreams beginning to stir as Venus opposed Neptune. When Venus then meets Pluto, we feel this inner pull of guidance towards our dreams and desires, an inner fire to begin to pursue our desires, an inner something pulling us forwards, whispering to us, you know, you're worth more than this, and you're better than this, and you've got more to offer than this, and there's more of you. Begin to let that more of you shine through. Begin to allow more of you to be seen. Begin to be braver towards those desires and those dreams that are stirring beneath the surface, and begin to really take back your power. Whenever we get Venus with Pluto, it's about taking back your power. So I want you to look at those places in your life where you've leaked your energy and you've leaked your power and you've given your power away. And I want you to really feel a sense of gathering back your power to be able to stand in your full alignment and truth and integrity and values, and begin to move from there. Now, with Venus moving into Libra on this same day, this is a time now to really, especially as we've got those waning lunar energies, to let go of anything that is out of balance in your life. So anything that keeps you out of balance, anywhere where you're giving way too much and someone else is taking and there's nothing coming back, anything that's leaving you overly depleted and not filling you back up again in any way, it's a time to let that go. Anything that is not in alignment with your values, anything that is not in alignment with what you want, because as Venus met Neptune and Pluto, there will be a knowing of what you want, but there'll be a little bit of a reality check around here about where are you saying you want something and then accepting or behaving in a different way. Where are you accepting something different to what you say you want? Where are you saying, I want that, and then you're doing the opposite to it? So anything that is out of balance in your life, out of alignment, out of integrity, not in alignment with your values, we really need to start to let those things go. It's a time now to seek peace and harmony in your life, and to let go of any dramas, to let go of anything that drains you, to let go of anything that keeps you in a version of you that they want you to be, that is not in alignment with who you want to be. This is what we need to let go of. Because then on Sunday, Uranus stations retrograde. Now, as Uranus stations retrograde, what Uranus will first of all do is shake our lives up. And so if you are trying to hold on to anything that is not meant for you, if you're trying to hold on to anything that is not serving you, if you're trying to hold on to anything that is not true, Uranus is going to shake it all up. And so it's better that you let go of it than Uranus shake it out. This is also a really wonderful time to reflect on what you've been going and growing through over the past few weeks and months of this wild astrology that we've been in. But what have been the big growths? What have been the lessons? What have been the really big things that all this energy has been trying to show you and tell you and teach you? But Uranus retrograde, as much as it can feel like things are moving too quickly, things are changing too quickly, and we're almost a bit like, God, it feels like everything's like a bit unstable and shifting. It comes to free us, to liberate us, to really show us where we are still stuck in the past, where we're holding on to old versions of ourselves, where we're still yearning for old versions of our lives that aren't there anymore, where we're really not seeing the truth about things, maybe because we don't want to and it's easier just to keep blinkered, but where we're not seeing the truth. Uranus is going to really show us where we're not living in truth and alignment and liberation and freedom. And so this is a beautiful week now. I feel like I said beautiful a lot today. It's maybe this Venus energy for doing a lot of letting go, a lot of inner reflection, a lot of really feeling into you and who you want to be and what you want and where that is being blocked or restricted, where you're overly in your mind, and beginning to let go of all of these things so that then we can begin to find more truth and integrity and authenticity and peace and harmony. Because the truth is, when you are in integrity and alignment with yourself, when you're living by your values, when you know who you are, there is more peace and harmony in your life because you're not fighting against anything. And so that's the big message I want to give you for this week, is to really find that alignment in yourself. I hope as always this helps. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll be back really soon.